Hi everyone, this is Joseph Network TV, bringing to you more accurate news from all around the world. Please kindly subscribe to our channel if you are yet to do so, and if you have done so, we say thank you. Bayelsa Rivers over ownership of oil field. Federal High Court that ceded ownership of the dispute Soku oil wells field to Rivers State caught the Bayelsa state government by surprise. When people of the Kalabari Kingdom in Rivers State and their cousins, the people of Nebe Kingdom, started flexing muscles over ownership of an oil field located on the border of both states. Disarming watchers of the politics of the Niger Delta region were saddened by the relationship between the brothers. What could have triggered such bitterness that made even the government of both states start beating the drums of war? The answer lies in the contagious boundary areas between both states that is gathering bad blood between the otherwise friendly neighbors and brothers that have been boxed to different areas as a result of state caution or creation. So it was with Bayelsa and Rivers State. The Soku oil field is located on the border region of both states. While the community named Soku is in Rivers State, the Soku flow station where all crude from the field is processed is located in Olu Asiri, a Mebel community in Bayelsa State. Who owns the oil, and where should the revenue accruing from the field go? This is the bone of contention that has pitched the government of both states against one another. Answered by the Federal High Court sitting at the Federal Capital Territory Abuja, Justify Yank Ekwa in a judgment declared Rivers State the rightful owner of oil wells located in Akuku, Toru, local government area of Rivers State, and accordingly ordered the transfer of ownership from Bayelsa State to Rivers State. Delivering judgment in the suit with number FHC Abuja CS 984/19, Justice Ekwa held that all the documents from relevant government agencies and facts before the court proved that the Soku oil well field belongs to Rivers State. The judge noted that the issue arose from an error in the boundary demarcation between the two states and ordered the National Boundary Commission to rectify the error in its 11th edition of administrative map, which designated Samboro River as the border between the two states instead of River Santa Barbara. The error was said to have surfaced in the 11th edition of administrative map produced by the NBC in 2002. In its letter dated July 3, 2002, in response to Rivers State government protest, the NBC was said to have admitted the mistake and promised to rectify it in the 12th edition of the administrative map. However, following the failure of the NBC to rectify the mistake as promised earlier, the Rivers State government filed a suit against the Attorney General of Bayelsa State and the Attorney General of the Federation before the Supreme Court in 2009. Before the old River State was divided into two, the people of Mbeb and Kalabari has caused to go to the court to determine the ownership of the Soku oil field. But the military government at that time could not solve the problem. With the coming of democracy, the people once again called for a proper demarcation of the borders. This prompted the Chief Olusegun Obasanjo government to set up a committee to look into the case. The deputy governors of both states were co-opted into the committee that was set up to determine the borders and also determine who gets what. The situation soon changed when the then deputy governor of Bayelsa State becomes the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Rivers State government cried the President Goodluck Jonathan may have vested interest in the ownership of the oil field. Following the refusal of the state government to find a political solution to the issue, the people took the case to the court, where it was decided in favor of Oluosiri Membe. That was the situation until the River State government went to the Federal High Court to seek justice. The decision of the first court made the Federal Revenue and Fiscal Commission to start paying the revenue from the field to Bayelsa State since 2007. The Rivers State government had been seeing things with anger over this decision before the recent court decision. Hence, the decision to approach another court for justice. The Bayelsa State government was also battle ready. Following the initial ruling, the government insisted that there are so many oil fields and wells belonging to the people of the state, which were named after communities in present-day Rivers State, and that does not mean that they belong to the community so named. Speaking through the then State Commissioner for Information, the Bayelsa State noted this oversight did not matter then because both people belonged to the same state. He said that it was the creation of the new state that brought this issue to the fore, as its neighbor is now using the name to claim what does not belong to it. Beside the Soku field, which Bayelsa now choose to call Oluosiri oil well field, he lamented that the Idu oil field, which was named after another community in Ahwada in Cross River in River State, when it was located in Biseni community in Bayelsa State. In the same vein, Governor Seriake Diskin accused his River State counterpart of not telling his people the truth over the problem. He described as baseless the River State government claim, saying it was calculated to mislead the country and instigate crisis. Diskin accused then Governor Rotimi Amechi of trying to ridicule the office and person of President Goodluck Jonathan by bringing his office to a problem that was based on greed. Now, Bayelsa and Rivers State government are back on the warpath over the ownership of the disputed Soku oil field and flow station located in the boundary area of both states. It will be recalled that the chiefs and principal members of Akuku, Toru local government area in Rivers State had in a suit against the National Boundary Commission (NBC) and Attorney General of Bayelsa State prayed the court to declare River Santa Barbara as the boundary between the Calabaris in Akukutoru local government area of Rivers State and the members in Member local government area of Bayelsa State. The plaintiff also sought the court declaration on the purported 11th edition of the administrative map of Nigeria, arguing that it was done in error and its adoption should be declared null and void. However, the defendant, the Attorney General, and the Commissioner for Justice, Bayelsa State, submitted that the plaintiff have no looks standing, arguing that boundary matters is an issue between the state and not local government communities. Describing the suit filed by the plaintiff as abuse of judicial process, the state legal officers submitted that the Supreme Court had adjourned on the matter, adding that it was wrong for individual, group, or state to flaunt the order of the apex court. Quoting from the ruling of the Supreme Court as read by Justice Suleiman, the Attorney General said the boundary between the two states could not be determined until the National Boundary Commission completed its assignment as a setting in the Supreme Court judgment on suit. The judgment reads, in part, I have set out the functions of the NBC above, and from the provision of the NBC Act, it cannot be seriously suggested that therefore the jurisdiction of this court is invoked in a boundary dispute between states. The NBC should have determined the dispute or completed its exercise. The dispute boundary. It is on account of the foregoing and because of the technical nature of the dispute and the claim of the parties, this court finds that the NBC as an authority vested with authorities and expert know-how in dealing with this matter should have once for all conducted an exhaustive exercise over the disputed boundary. In the light of the observation I have clearly expressed above, I do not feel comfortable to grant the declaration sought on until the NBC conducted its exercise of the dispute boundary to finality. It will be futile and premature to determine the boundary of the two states in the present circumstances, as controversy continues to trail the ownership of the dispute. So, Cool Oil Well, the Bayelsa State government is likely to appeal the High Court's decision. Bayelsa view the recent victory score against it by Rivers State government as fighting a lost battle over its instances on the ownership of the disputed Soku oil well, arguing that the naming of the well by the Shell Petroleum Development Company was not enough evidence to cede the wells to Rivers. Faulting the argument of the River government and its representative, the Bayelsa government said Rivers State had thrown the corn to the wind by attacking the office of the then president, the government saying that the oil well was named after Soku by Shell Petroleum Development Company for administrative conveniences. Bayelsa State insists on the ownership of the Soku oil field, arguing that the disputed field was located in Olu Asari in Members local government area of Bayelsa State against the submission of the Rivers State government. Many Bayelsians think the initial nonchalance of the state government led to the recent victory score by Rivers, With the recent decision of the Federal High Court, the Bayelsa state government may seek redress from high judicial quarters to demand a return of the oil well and field, which contribute huge income to the state. Quote, the situation soon changed when the then deputy governor of Bayelsa State becomes the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Rivers State government cried that President Goodluck Jonathan may have vested interest in the ownership of the oil field. Following the refusal of the state government to find a political solution to the issue, the people took the case to court where it was decided in favor of Oluwaseri. That was the situation until the Rivers State government went to the Federal High Court to seek justice. The decision of the first court made the Federal Revenue and Fiscal Commission to start paying the revenue from the field to Bayelsa State. Since 2007, the Rivers State government has been seething with anger over this decision before the recent court decision. Hence, the decision to approach another court for justice. I mean, what do you feel about this particular case? What do you you see two governors fighting over oil well? You can imagine. And this is a place full of oil well. So I don't know why they are fighting over this particular one. Or is it just like a show of power that, okay, I have more power than you, I know more people than you, or something like that? Because I'm telling you, they have both of them, they have good oil wells around their states. So I don't know why they are fighting over this particular one. I mean, what is your own take about it? What do you feel about it? And what do you see about it? Is it a share of like these corrupt leaders we're talking about? They're too greedy? You think so? That's just my own opinion. What do you think about this particular news? Please kindly just send us your comments. We'll be waiting for it. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're yet to do so. And if you have done so, we say thank you. Bye.